Hello, and welcome to That's Pretty Crafty.
Hello.
We got an extra special person today.
Yes.
Hello.
This is Dan. We're excited to have him.
Yes. From
Three
the
Ds.
Yes, lots
Yes.
of G's. I like it.
Oh my goodness.
So, how have we been?
It's been a
One week.
year. Been that too.
Yep,
No, things are going okay.
excellent.
Life be lifin', but
Life
that's
do
how
be
it
lifing'.
do. Life do be lifin'. Um, as per usual, start off with, hey, what have you guys been working on?
Well, let's get our guests to
I just
start.
started. All right. So I just started a new job. So besides doing the podcasty thing with the redacted reports, where I'm the handler, um, working on that, trying to get the new, up to speed with the new job. It's a life changer. It's a good job.
Good.
It's going to allow me to travel. So yeah, I'm happy with it. It's a little bit different than what I did before, but not a whole lot. And I'm able to translate, what I do and what I know to it. So yay for good income,
We like
livable
that,
income.
yes.
Yes.
That's always
Yes.
important.
Oh, happy for you, Dan.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I
All
have
my
been
pens are
traveling.
exploding.
So with the traveling comes the knitting of the socks. So I finished. Well, I didn't finish. I got partway through a sock.
Ooh.
So these are, of course, for me, so they're tiny, but that's fine. This is my string theory yarn that I picked up while I was in Florida 2 weeks
Oh
ago.
yeah.
And I love these vibrant stripes.
Oh,
that
your
go
green
see-through.
screen?
Yes, green screen. Cool.
Whoa.
You can just see right through my sock. Cool.
I was thinking, wow, it's the whole, like, is the dress yellow or blue or white?
Okay,
That is kind
so
of wild.
about the dress from years ago, did you guys hear that he tried to kill his wife?
What?
Yeah.
Dee Dee, you are my source for all things.
I
Wow.
literally found this out. They live on like a tiny island in Scotland of like 124 people. There are no police there, and people had to pull him off of his wife. He tried
Holy
to
crap.
strangle her.
That's
yeah,
not
I
good.
I was like, this is the stuff I find out today.
Okay.
That's all right. That's
Yeah.
like straight up, true crime type stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of
Yeah.
podcast is this going to be? Or,
A
is
fun
that
one.
today's stream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I started a sock. So I finished my Earth Yarns socks they're upstairs now, but I went ahead and I used the whole thing, made them a little taller than usual. But I finished those on my trip
Excuse me.
on the flight to where I was going. So when I got there, I started knitting on these. And I need to put in a heel. You see, there is no heel. I'm going to do an afterthought heel, where I pick up stitches and then I cut my knitting. But I also
Witchcraft.
I've started the second sock, so let's see.
It is so unusual for me to see you not knit them both at the same time.
Yes, it is. I don't like it. It feels weird. I usually knit
Yeah.
my socks two at a time. But
Yeah.
because it's stripy yarn and I did not prepare enough before I left and divide my yarn into two balls, the stripes were going to be going opposite, and I don't like that. So I have to knit
Danny
them one at a
can't
time.
have mismatched socks.
Danny cannot have mismatched socks. It's fine.
Oh,
I can't wear mismatched socks. It just drives me absolutely bonkers.
Yeah,
oh,
it's a problem. I can't do it.
that's the only thing I do. I never match my socks.
I love you, DB, but I just can't.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't like mismatch with links. So like long socks are long socks, short socks are short socks. They're not
Okay.
mismatched that way. It would just feel weird.
Yes.
Yeah. I have not done any crafts.
Oh, okay.
I worked on the blanket a little bit
That's a craft.
before. Yeah, but that was last week. I haven't worked on it since.
Yeah, but you haven't been on
Um,
this show since you worked on it.
sure,
There you go.
sure, but it's not near me because
Yeah,
it's
that's
over by my recliner. Uh, but I've been reading a lot though, so there is that.
so what have you been reading?
So currently I am working on Zombie.
Oh,
I
And
like it.
the back of it says Heartstopper meets Stephen King. I'm waiting for either of those to be true.
Oh no.
I'm
Oh.
56 pages in. Um, but I mean, there is a zombie. It starts off with the guy coming out of the grave, so I guess that's part of the Stephen King part of it, but
Okay.
we're waiting. Let's see. I finished.
some things are best left dead.
Yeah. Um, I finished What Moves the Dead, which is a retelling of the fall of the House of Usher. And then my sister tried to gaslight me on it. And then I finished The Perfect Marriage, which is like a law thriller thing. It was really good. Had me guessing the whole time on who did it.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. So what have you guys been reading?
Well, I have picked up a book from my local library. Fun and games with your dog. Because
Yay.
with everything that's been going on with Hershey for the last like 6 months now, we've spent so much time keeping her calm and quiet that we've forgotten how to play together. And so I'm like, we're gonna get a book and learn how to do this again, just to get us started. But it's one of those, we spent so much time keeping her crated and keeping her still and keeping her calm that right now her playing is grabbing a toy and shoving it in my face, and then when I try to take it, she just drops it and looks at me.
Oh, baby.
But she doesn't fetch, like she won't go get it. She just brings it to me to show me, which is adorable. She wants to show me all of her toys.
Yeah.
But so we're working on learning how to play a little bit. And then while I was traveling, I finished a book called Curated by Nellie Wilson.
Ooh.
And it is a museum romance between two museum curators, an arts museum and a science museum. And
I love that.
Ooh.
It was
Houses opposed, I guess.
exactly, yes. And I'm not giving away much because it happens in the first few pages that the university funding is cut. And so the history museum at the house has to merge with the science museum. And
Surprise,
they're getting a
surprise,
new
surprise.
location, and everything's getting merged, and the two
The uni-
curators have to share the same office. So,
The gasp. I'm,
The scandal.
not surprised that the university has to cut funds and it's not like the sports team.
right?
Look at the realism in this book.
But it was really well written. The main character, Emmy, suffers from extreme anxiety, and
Moved.
it was really well written. It wasn't, for the most part, it was not over the top and ridiculous. Because it's a romance, they had their typical third act breakup thing, and that's where I think things were a little bit unrealistic, but that happens with a lot of romance books at that point.
Yes.
But they brought it back, and said the two characters were really well written, and I enjoyed it. So that was a 4-star for me.
Oh, that's good.
Good. A good rating.
Yeah.
It is a good rating. Dan, what about you?
In the beginning of this new year, I decided to bite the bullet and get into audiobooks. When I was younger, I used to read books all the time, and I would devour them. I think a lot of us, especially now that we're adults, look back at that time, and some folks can still do it, but I just couldn't. So I gave into it. Now I was like, you know what? The hell with the stigma. It's still reading. And
Yep.
since January, I've read 24 books. I've listened to 24 books on Audible
That's
and
awesome.
Libby, because Libby is fantastic.
Yes.
The last two books that I read, because I was kind of doing them simultaneous, both autobiographies. One was the autobiography of Malcolm X as told to Alex Haley.
Oh.
Um, and then the other one was Becky Lynch, The Man, Not Your Average Girl, which is from the professional wrestler Becky Lynch. And that
Oh.
was very, very funny, very well
Oh,
written,
good.
very, very funny. Um, the the Malcolm X book was read by Lawrence Fishburne, so that was just a beautiful voice to
Right.
narrate. I did learn something very interesting too in the Malcolm X book. The leader, the creator of the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad, uh, lived in South Phoenix, where I live.
Oh.
I happened to look up his address because that's now public knowledge because he's long since passed
Right.
and whatnot. And it's less than a mile away from me in the neighborhood across the street, like across the
Oh,
main street and just down the way. So I went for a drive and there's his house and there's a couple plaques up there
That's so
because it's
cool.
kind of a big deal. And I was like, check that out. I didn't know if I didn't listen to that book. And, you
Yeah.
know, it's different when you
That's
find out, when you go to where history was,
mm-hmm.
you connect with it more.
yeah. Well, that's really cool.
That is really cool.
I will say that my favorite audiobooks to listen to are biographies and autobiographies. I don't know why those appeal to me more in audio, but they do. So,
I have
It's nice when
been.
they're read by the
Oh, go ahead.
it's nice when they're read by the authors.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
I have been listening to the Dresden Files. That's my audio books right now. Is anytime I have points with Audible, it's the next one.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
So one of it wasn't because of what we're doing later. Part of it was because Ren recommended it to me, and I have dyslexia. So reading these like thick fantasy novels is very hard for me at times. And Faye were like, "Hey, listen to the audiobooks. They're done by I forget his name.
James
James
Marsters.
Marsters.
Thank you. I always butcher his last name. Um, and they're really well done." And I went, "Oh, okay." I will say the quality of the first one when it comes to the audio, not great. But they get better as time goes on. But also I think they didn't expect like it to take off as much as it did. The other fun thing about the Dresden Files is they keep mentioning places that I grew up in and like stomping grounds. The first book mentions Branson, Missouri, and I'm like, hey, that's my basically home. So,
And a
but
lot of them
yeah,
are set in Chicago, right?
all of them so far. I'm only on book 4, but all of them so far are set in Chicago. Never been there, but it's fun when they're like, "Oh, Missouri." I'm like, "Hey."
Yeah, I've gone to
I
Chicago every
I
2 or 3
like the
years.
books. I like
Oh,
those books. I just the listening to other narrators, I and hearing John Marsters because I had started listening to those as well in the beginning of the year. Like you said, some of the audio quality isn't that great because they keep a lot of his like his breath intakes,
yeah.
Yeah.
his lip smacking that oftentimes gets edited out or not included. So I don't know if that adds life to the books a little bit more, or part of the charm, but it was a little distracting at first.
It is, and I agree with that. It was very distracting at first, but I think it does add a little bit of charm because at least it is being told in first person.
Hmm.
I think if
Mm-hmm.
those books were not in first person and we had all of that, I'd be like, can we take that out, please?
Yeah.
But they did. I've been really enjoying them. But I listened to the first 3 too quickly and went, okay, I'm bored with the characters. I need to
Oh,
take a break and read something else.
yeah, that happens. That is, they're on my list to listen to again before we do our episode with Ren. So it's been,
There's
oh,
so many.
so I listened to them first on the first road trip that Jim and I did to Canada, which was about 9 years ago. So it's been a while since I've listened to the first ones.
Oh. Yeah, I'm planning on hopefully listening to at least 2 more before
Okay.
we do that episode and before Dan starts his thing as well.
All right.
So this is going to be a little bit of a scoop, but yeah, one of the next projects that I'm going to be working on, DB is going to be involved in. We're going to be doing a shorter campaign, but we're going to be doing a Dresden Files game on a stream with Ren.
Very exciting.
Don't know when.
No. I am very excited, but yeah. Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
I look forward to watching that.
But we should jump into what are we doing today, Danny and Dan?
Well, today we're gonna hear about the King in Yellow, and while we're talking about the King in Yellow, we're going to be making some masks because those kind of figure in rather importantly.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that. That's fantastic. It's almost a cheater too.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I'm almost done.
No. I have the one that I'm going to do, but
oh, okay.
This is more exciting because I never get to wear this. It's a leather mask that a friend gifted to me as a thank you for house sitting for him.
Oh.
And yeah, I never get to wear it because I don't have a place to wear masks. So I thought I'd bring it down because it's pretty.
Well, it's time to do a party with Quest and Chaos, and it needs to be a masquerade party, obviously.
Well, clearly. So
I might be having some internet issues. It says my internet is unstable. So even I'm doing some oh, hello, Ren.
Yay!
Hey, thank you for the raid.
Woo-hoo!
Whatever it is.
Love it.
So yes, I'm hotspotting through my phone. So we will see how it works.
We'll make do.
It happens.
How it works out.
We are used to the internet being the internet on us, so
very often. Yeah.
Yes, internet is being dumb. It died at the house, so I'm hotspotting in.
Does this happen to you for work? Sorry, just to get like tangent a little bit.
Occasionally.
Okay.
Usually it only happens after 4:30, 5 o'clock. It doesn't happen generally during the day, during my work hours. Sometimes it happens when I'm doing recordings of the redacted reports.
Yeah.
We've heard that in outtakes.
I keep my outtakes running. I keep the recording going, and sometimes you get to hear me doing some sing-alongs and whatnot. You might be hearing that in some of the outtakes for this upcoming season.
I'm excited.
Not the one that everyone just finished.
Yeah. One of the reasons that we're doing The King in Yellow is because of last season. Part of the reason that I came to Dan about this is we recorded a patron episode and we were halfway through it and we took our break, right? And I was sitting there and I was like, this feels very much like The King in Yellow. I didn't really know. I don't know a lot about The King in Yellow. And then we were in the break and you were like, yeah, The King in Yellow. And I was like, I fucking knew it.
I based the patron game off of one of the scenarios from the book called The Curse of the Yellow Sign, which is right there. It's written by John Wick, not the the International Assassin, but the International Assassin game developer guy. He's not really that scary. I mean, maybe to some people he is, but he's a very good friend of mine. But John wrote that book, and it's one of my favorite scenarios in there. And yeah, you got to play in it, DB.
I did. I got to be paranoid in it, if we're completely honest.
Which was fantastic to watch or listen to.
Oh, it was so much fun. I was
And
just
are you guys all caught up?
yes. But
The
so I'm a patron, so don't want to talk about the last interlude, I think.
right, because that's not out
Yeah.
for everyone. But
Not until
Yeah,
tomorrow.
tomorrow. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
but everything else, I believe we're both caught up on. Yes.
All right. So then,
Yes.
shall we consider this a spoiler zone?
Yes.
Oh,
we can talk about
always.
We
It
are
always
always
is.
a
Okay.
spoiler-filled zone. Spoilers are
Okay, all right.
us.
I will just tell everybody real quick. We are about to talk about the last season of the Redactor Reports. If you don't want spoilers, please leave. And you can come back when you're
Yeah.
done.
It's called dramaturgy.
Mm-hmm.
Am I robots?
Yep. Oh, we
A
got you.
little bit. Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody's turned into a robot for me.
we can
Oh,
still
no.
hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you
All
are.
right. Good. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! So what do you guys want to know, or what kind of questions do you have?
I have so many, but I don't know if I should ask them here or wait for your guys' talk back. S- my biggest question is about Olga. And did she become a like drama queen because of how paranoid I played her?
We're gonna hold off on that one until the talk. You're not
Okay,
getting
good.
immediate satisfaction on that.
Yeah. That's fine. I figured I will also post that into like the questionnaire whenever that happens. I know it's not been done yet. But yeah, that was just one of those things when I got there, I was like,
Is this my fault?
was this me, Jesus? Like
Was it? Yes, most probably. I'm gonna,
more than likely.
You know, if there's a chance for me to blame other people for me doing stuff, absolutely.
I will take
Oh,
the
yeah, look.
blame always. Oh, thank you. I will go find it and do the thing. Thank you, Alondra. Our
Thank
Lady
you.
Bedivere. Cheesy peasy lemon squeezy.
Well, on the bright side, Lady Bedivere shows up in a lot of our streams, so
It's true.
it's not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know why my brain just went, and say her actual name.
Because brains be like that when we be tired.
Oh my gosh, right? Okay, that was the only question I had currently. I need to go back and re-listen. There were times when, like, I think I left my podcast running as I took out my headphone for a meeting, and then came back and went,
Huh.
what's going on?
I missed something.
I have the other question I have, and I don't think you can answer this, is if we're gonna see the king again.
I can't answer that. No,
Yeah, here.
no, that's all right.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, the King in Yellow is part of the traditional Cthulhu mythos, and it's one of the main things that one of the main antagonists that was not written by Howard Lovecraft. It was actually written by Robert Chambers, and it was then added into other parts of the mythos by Ambrose Bierce and I'm trying to think of Sandy Peterson and August Derleth. Those traditional authors of the Cthulhu mythos added the king into our Lovecraftian horror, if you will. It was mostly weird science and like the science fiction than it was necessarily horror, and it revolves itself around a play. Because what else is scarier than a bunch of drama kids doing a play, going off and doing, scary and possibly hedonistic stuff, and them dying because, it's always a morality play, right?
Of course.
So, did Robert Chambers write more than the Yellow Sign, or
Yes.
was that He did. Okay, because that's the one that I listened to for this episode. Because it was an audiobook form and it was 45 minutes. So I didn't know if he had more that I missed, and it sounds like he did.
Oh, he does. He has a just between novels and short story collections and anthologies, I think he's got about 50 titles to his name.
Oh, I meant about the King in Yellow.
Oh, about the King in Yellow? No.
Oh,
the King in
okay.
Yellow, that was it.
Oh, okay.
I do think that stuff gets mentioned in the Makers of the Moon.
Okay.
Or Maker of the Moons. I did actually drop a couple Easter eggs of the Makers of the Moons into the podcast and into the story that we had. And they're kind of like deep cuts, like the names of certain drinks that are there to tie it in, because again, they were at the Chambers Hotel.
Okay.
Love that.
That was in unison. That was great. Was that?
We're just that in sync.
Yeah. We've been doing this for 3 years.
Oh no, I hate that my internet dies.
Oh. Yeah, no, we yeah. Not intentional, but that happens.
Quite a bit.
That's okay. It make me happy. So
I love those sorts of little Easter eggs that get thrown in.
Oh yeah.
I try to include them in all of my stories because one thing that I really like to do is I like to become a expert in the material that I'm talking about. And I want to appear that way, even if it's just for a very short time, because, you know, it may go into the, you know, the short-term memory and then get purged later on as I add more stuff in later on for whatever new thing. But surprisingly, some of the stuff takes. But yeah, to make the world in my storytelling seem more realistic. I try to add in other little bits of Easter eggs there that aren't necessarily ham-handed, like the Chambers Hotel, and you know, like the name of the drink when they were in the Access and Egress Theater, the A&E Theater. In and Out.
Yep.
Amazing.
And I will say, I don't always catch those the first time around, especially. But I've not been so good at keeping up on my red string board because, you know, life happens and I have guests come and I have to take the board down because apparently some of the stuff's not appropriate for a 7-year-old to see.
That's not my fault.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it is.
No.
No, I just, you know, I had to take down my red string board because, like I said, some of the stuff wasn't appropriate for a 7-year-old. Some of the printouts of the monsters, not really a thing to put where the kids are trying to sleep when the kids are easily seduced by nightmares. For some reason.
Fair enough.
But is that a bad thing though? I mean, I went to bed looking at a Frank Frazetta painting of the Death Dealer every night, and I turned out okay.
By your choice or by your parents' choice?
My brother's choice. I shared a room with my brother who's 11 years older than I was. So we grew up. I grew up in a very, very small home. The home was about 600 square foot. It was a 1-bedroom house. My parents had their bed in the middle living room, and then my brother and I had the bedroom itself, and it was a tiny little room, and we had bunk beds. And even though he was 11 years older than me and stayed there for quite some time, we shared a room. And, you know, he's the one that got to control the music. So my lullabies were Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath and AC/DC and Judas Priest. So that's the stuff that I fell asleep to, like Highway to Hell.
Nice.
And we sold our souls of rock and roll for Kiss and whatnot. Still don't like Kiss. But... and yeah, the artwork was, you know, Frank Frazetta artwork, which was, you know, kind of a little bit scary. So think of it, actually. It was on a black velvet painting that my mom had painted from a paint by numbers.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So yeah, it's my mom. It's my mom's fault.
There you go.
Hey, thank you for the follow.
Hello, yes.
Yay!
Yeah, I understand. I also have an older sibling. We did not share a room, but there was torment there. We're about 9 years apart, I think. But yeah, older siblings.
Uh, as an older
I
sibling, I'm
luck
going to say,
I
hey.
figured I
Oh, that's it.
I figured that I grew up with another parent, because by the time I was of age to make horrible and bad decisions, they were old enough to, kind of yell at me and take care of me. Um, but I've got a good relationship with my brother.
Well,
So
that's good.
Yeah, I do now. He and I do not see eye to eye most of the time, though.
yeah, you don't necessarily have to, as long as if hopefully people can keep things civil and as best we can, right?
Oh God, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Um, it just is what it is. We also don't live in close proximity, which makes it hard to be close. So
Yeah. That does make it harder, but
My brother moved from Pennsylvania to Arizona. Oh, look at that. That looks fantastic.
I'm
oh my
waiting for the paint to dry
gosh,
so I can do another coat because it's very streaky because painting on plastic, not the easiest, but...
I have this.
Ooh.
I went with a paper mask, and so right now I'm just doing some highlights around.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
I have some little foam sculpture uh, that I'm going to be adding as tentacles coming out of the
I love it.
Yes.
left eye. So I've got
Oh,
one tentacle, two, three.
Ooh.
I got
I'm
5 or 6
excited.
tentacles.
Love it.
Oh,
We are big
it's
tentacle
amazing.
fans. That sounded weird, but it's fine. Yep.
Sure, that
Okay.
works.
I mean,
Annie.
sorry. Look, no, the roll for weird picture has tentacles coming out the door because we like the weird stories. That doesn't make things any better, does it? I'll stop talking now.
No, no, no. Keep going. You're digging. You're digging well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The shovel down, Danny.
The good news is Mom's not watching tonight.
But it will be available up for later on.
Yeah,
We do the weird stuff.
I haven't taught her how to do that part yet, so we're okay. I'm okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we do the weird stuff. I need to watch that again at some point.
I have not watched
Yeah.
that in a while. I think it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's one of those where people become problematic and you feel bad watching their stuff, but
Yeah.
you know what? I've already paid for it and own it, so I can't get my money back. I might as well watch it.
And it's not all of them that have become problematic, just one. So
Yeah.
do we negate the art of all of the people that are involved because of one asshole?
Yeah. Exactly.
Now I'm concerned.
And I don't think there's a definitive answer on that.
No, that's one of those things. It's art is complicated like that. So,
Who's the problematic one? I may have missed this.
Joss Whedon.
Oh, I forgot that was him. Sorry. I thought we were talking about these specific
No, as
people in the show.
far as I know, the actors are awesome.
I don't know.
I will always preface it with,
Yeah.
as far as I know. I am not deeply involved in the lives of people I haven't met, so
Yeah, fair enough.
waiting for paint to dry is kind of boring.
I mean, talking about problematic, and we're here. It is. Maybe if you wave it. Problematic artists. Not Howard Philip Lovecraft was probably a very, very most likely a shit human being.
Yeah.
Racist, xenophobic, misogynist, and he's considered a pioneer of cosmic horror, speculative fiction, sci-fi, and weird science. But the guy wasn't. I don't think he was a good person.
No. No, he seems like he was not from everything that I've read and seen discussed. He
Yeah.
But
was
I do like that a lot of.
Did I lose Dan?
I do like that a lot of artists are trying to, claim, reclaim his stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or the idea of cosmic horror and branch out, take the ideas that he may have birthed and, make it their own. Um,
yeah.
like Lovecraft Country,
I haven't watched that.
which I haven't either, but I don't watch a ton of television outside of professional wrestling,
That's fair.
which is it which I can talk for hours and hours on. But that's not today's podcast
No.
material.
Although we may have to do
Next
that at
time
one
with
point.
Dan.
I'm much more
What's
familiar
that?
than I thought I would ever be with professional wrestling because my husband is very into it, and so is Molly, one of our dogs. She likes
Okay.
falling asleep and being left home alone with wrestling playing. So, wrestling is almost always on the television at my house.
I watched
That's pretty
it
fantastic.
when I was in like middle school, so I haven't watched a lot of it now, so I don't know a lot of the professional wrestlers anymore.
Well, without me going too deep into, Dan's spiel, um, it's just going to be a brief touch on it. Professional wrestling is short-term storytelling and long-term storytelling. One of the greatest components of it is the fact that it uses violence to tell the story. We're role players.
Mm-hmm.
Most role playing games have violence, so
Yep.
you could watch it to learn how to run violent scenes or tell stories through violence. Um,
Yeah.
and the idea of, oh yes, it's uh, it's a melodrama or it's a soap opera. Hell yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
it's commedia dell'arte.
Yeah.
We there in all of professional wrestling, you have the themes and the tropish characters that you have in commedia dell'arte. You've got the jester, you've got the handsome antagonist, you have the femme fatale, you have the spies, you have the leaders. They're all there.
Yep.
So it goes a little bit deeper than just very large men and women dressed in very tiny clothes, fighting, for a belt for pants that they don't wear.
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, there was a character and a wrestler who passed due to COVID related complications that made me very sad. A wrestler named Bray Wyatt. Um, I based Father from the first season of Shrimp Farm off of Bray Wyatt. Well, first season and a couple other seasons afterward. But I based it off of his writings because he liked creepy shit, and I like creepy shit, and his story was very creepy. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
We are all about the creepy shit.
And that sort of thing was really cool to find out because I was very familiar with that character, so or the character that he played, and, or the persona, I guess. So that really
Yeah.
helped bring Father to life for me in a fun, different way than he had been.
it's it's so nice when you get to explain or detail something to someone through an audio means, and then have someone go, "Oh yeah, this is what it was that was in my mind for imagination."
Mm-hmm.
That as a storyteller, when someone can visualize what you're saying, or you know pull up the same dress,
Mm-hmm.
like a mermaid dress.
Yeah.
uh yeah, that made me happy when that happened.
I gotta say the
It's
redacted
like,
reports Patreon and even non-patron group on the Discord is a really fantastic group of people.
Oh yeah.
And I'm learning. I learned so many different things from just the random shit that gets posted there.
Mm-hmm. I get pulled into Dan posting things at 3 a.m. and me going, oh no. Because I'm not there often, but I'm always there when Dan's like, I have an idea. No.
It kind of comes back to that whole idea of, are the nightmares bad? Because oftentimes when those come to me, they come to me in dreams, and I'm just like, we're gonna run with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll wake up, and Desert Nico will attest to this. I'll wake up and I'll start writing sometimes, and be like, I got an idea, and she just lets me go with that, because it just strikes at just weird points. And I've got a saying that someone told me, and I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was, if you write it down, you make it real. So I'm always, connecting over to either my notes application on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
or to a Google Doc, and trying to capture whatever magic or scenes that I've got going on in my brain, and put it down as best I can.
Yeah. That
Most of them come true.
that is fantastic and terrifying.
I'm here for it.
I mean, I love
So
stuff that
Reese,
shows up in dreams.
go ahead.
Just I feel like the mind is much more relaxed when you're sleeping, and you get the weird good connections.
That depends on your brain.
Yeah.
Well, and the purpose, I guess, for storytelling purposes. I feel like the weird sleep thoughts are some of my favorite plots that I've come up with, are the things that come to me when I'm asleep. I refine stuff in the shower or when I'm going for a walk. But the weird seeds, they show up when I'm sleeping.
The initial seats, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I used to keep a notepad near my bed, so if I had a dream, I could write it down. But now the fact that I have my cell phone always within reach, I can type more legible than anything that I could write. Um, my my dream thoughts and my dream ideas are preserved much better now.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a good thing for us or not.
It's a great thing
Absolutely.
for us.
It's
We get
fantastic.
Awesome seasons.
A little terrifying, but fantastic.
I am here for it.
The folks, the rest of the cast, are surprised that I have 19 seasons total, not necessarily plotted out, but in mind. And we are in season. We just finished
7? 6. Numbers.
7.
7.
Yeah, numbers are hard. I don't like numbers. Numbers don't like me.
Me either.
They move around on the page sometimes. Because dyscalculia is a real thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, Ren, we just finished season 7, just finished up posting, and we're almost done with season 8. We're
Which
probably
is
going to finish
wild.
that, not this weekend, but the weekend after.
Oh my gosh. I am ready for it.
So with this being spoilers,
Yes.
we know that looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Looks so
what-
good.
I'm holding it in the path of the dryer, the heater. So.
What do you think of the new addition to the crew, the characters?
I love him.
I love Ari. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, Disaster Twins took a bit to grow on me.
Okay.
And that's just because of Ross just like taking all of the things while on a mission. I'm like, buddy, what are we doing?
He did make some choices there,
Sweetheart.
but I love that he
You know,
stuck with it.
Oh, yeah.
I really appreciate that as a GM, especially since we're doing Call of Cthulhu adjacent stuff, because there's always this comment of don't read the book, burn the book. What fun is that, right? The story that we're telling is about the crazy shit that's going to happen when you burn the book.
Oh,
Yeah.
Since you read the book, right?
Yeah.
And now the same idea holds true with him being, it's like, all right, you're going to see neat stuff when you when you eat whatever pill that was, or take the drink of whatever the thing was.
Yep.
I think also if I had listened to Ross and Reagan's intro story first, but I was so far behind and I was trying to get caught up that I skipped it and then went back later to listen to it.
Gotcha.
But also Ross rolling just badly all the time. In the beginning, I was like, oh man, we're going to lose him so quickly.
Yeah, I was worried that he was not going to make it halfway through the season.
I'm now worried about Ari, because like Ari isn't rolling well either.
Hey Buddha, I know that you're only in the Burning Man season right now. We are talking about things that happen post Burning Man season, and some of it is very spoilery, so you might not want to watch. I love having you watch us, but it's there's some stuff that might leave you a little sour.
Yeah. Well, my short-term memory issue.
We Tanya was listening to one of our other episodes that was not redacted reports related and didn't catch the warning that we were spoilering things, and she didn't know about what happened at the end of the previous season 6 with
but I know. Sorry, Buddha. Yeah, I know about your short-term memory, but this is a canon moment.
Yeah.
So
that we're dancing around right now, so that
peripherally here,
you can leave if you want to not hear about it. But that event is the one that.
So if
Tanya,
you hear it,
that's the one that Tanya hadn't
can't be mad at me.
Caught up to yet, and we had mentioned it. And she had to go cry for a little bit. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, tears are shed on that one.
I mean, I listened to that before I went shopping with my mom, and there were tears. And then listened to the interlude in the office and was just silently weeping at the desk.
I will say that I have not listened to that interludes yet, because I am not mentally ready to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. I've read the spoilers, so I'm aware of what happens. And aware of a lot of the little Easter eggy things, and that's cool, but I haven't been in a place lately to let myself be emotionally wrecked like that. So I'm saving it for later when I'm in a better headspace.
Okay.
Yeah. It was one of those things that I was like, it's fine. I've already cried about this. And I went, and it wasn't fine.
Indeed, dear reader, it was not.
Yeah.
No, it and honestly, I don't want to say that, it was absolutely on purpose. And I have a thought and a feeling about art. Because the idea is, what is art, right? It's one of the grandest questions of all of humanity. And my thought is that art makes you feel something. That could be apathy is a feeling, the lack of feeling. So stuff like Warhol's Campbell's soup, cans, like, why did he do it? It's there for a reason, because you sit there and you're like, all right, it's about consumerism or whatever bullshit that you come up with, right?
Yeah.
Whatever thought.
Yeah.
But I believe that art makes you feel something. And I really wanted to really focus in on those feels. And yeah,
You did
yeah,
it.
I believe we succeeded. I
Yep.
believe we succeeded with a plum.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Do, do you want to hear my Andy Warhol story?
You have an Andy Warhol story? Yes,
I
please.
Sure.
do. So, I went to college in Springfield, Missouri, where I believe two of Andy Warhol's Campbell soup prints went missing.
Oh,
Just walked out of the art museum in Springfield and have not been found yet. Because every now and then I Google it.
huh.
Because I'm like, what? Where
Okay.
the hell did these go?
That's such a weird thing to take. Like, you can't put it up in your living room.
No, you can't put it up in your living room. You can't.
Well, you could put it up in your living room, but nobody's going to be allowed to see it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
believe that happened like 2 months after I graduated, so I was already in Ohio by that point. But I was just like,
Are we sure that you were in Ohio at that point?
you know,
You know, we never see the other side of DB's room. We only ever see that side.
Right?
I mean, listen, this is the majority of the room. It is a small room.
And then the giant Campbell's soup poster on behind your monitor.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I mean, it's
and
totally
it's just a
aesthetic.
print. Yeah.
It's just a print. Thought it was cool.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So now we know that Devils is an art thief.
Fantastic. I love it.
Could you imagine?
Oh, I'm already imagining it.
It's the next NPC to show up in Dan's campaign.
Deal.
No, the
I
last
love
one
it.
died.
You did your NPC die? Oh, that's sad.
It was an offhand comment one night about how my girlfriend's grandmother thought my name was Debbie. And that's how we got Debbie Todd.
Love it.
Oh,
I mean, Debbie Todd she went out well.
did she?
Yeah, why not? A little bit of a stalker, and then the great Alexia Preston took care of that because nobody fucks with my bitches.
Yeah, that's true.
God, I love her so much. So,
Oh.
do you have plans for her and her entourage and?
Is Dan allowed to answer that question? We've had two where he.
I am allowed to answer that question.
Yay.
And my answer on that question is going to be listen and see. There are some NPCs that just take on lives of their own.
Oh yeah.
And when that happens, they can't just disappear. I besides the fact that I love doing the cracked voice,
Mhm.
and I realize we're supposed to be talking about The King in Yellow and
It never works
this most
that way.
recent season.
We
but,
tangent.
So a little behind the curtains, the character was a patron character, because
Oh.
part of our patron program is at a certain level you're allowed to, or not allowed, but you provide us with some input about a character name, maybe a little bit of background, and I try to work them into the story, as a thank you very much for for giving us money for doing stuff that we love.
Mhm.
Absolutely appreciate it. So give you the opportunity to get a little bit of immortality. So one of our patrons sent in the information about Alexia Preston, about her being a rich socialite, and I was like, all right, I've got a spot for it. And when I was thinking about the rich socialite and the fact that we had the Burning Man situation, I thought of Paris Hilton. And
Yes.
Paris Hilton is a very interesting person.
Mm-hmm.
originally, when I learned about Paris Hilton, I thought Paris Hilton was an airhead and grated on my nerves. And then when I kind of dug a little bit deeper, Paris Hilton is exceptionally smart.
Oh yeah,
Oh gosh,
she is
yeah.
brilliant.
Her voice is an affect. The voice that everybody knew was an affectation. And I was like, what if we did that with Alexia Preston?
Mm-hmm.
What if she was really like, excuse me, what if she really was this, near diabolical, sinister person behind it? And, but still maybe a good guy having some redeeming qualities. And so that's where Alexia Preston was. That with even the whole vocal fry thing. Yeah, that was all me paying tribute to the genius that is Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
No, I 100% agree with you, because like Paris Hilton used to like get on my nerves as well, but like knowing like her like kind of like her backstory kind of thing, it was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm done.
You're done.
I think so.
Well, let's see.
I don't want to add any more, because it's starting to like, it might get too much.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure what else I want to add. Ooh. Added the got the
the
King and Yellow
sign.
symbol,
Yeah.
or the yellow sign.
yes.
Ooh, I like it.
Oh, that looks so good.
I don't know what I want to do, because I want it to be a palette mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I've got plans for probably some puff paint after this, but
Mm-hmm.
acrylic on plastic really needs to dry well before I start messing with other layers.
Yeah.
Where's my glue? I'm gonna start gluing on some tentacles.
Nice.
Got to protect the brushes, get the paint off the brushes.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I used marker pens tonight.
Because these brushes are not mine. They're TJ's, because she didn't want me using my miniatures brushes, or her miniatures brushes.
Aw. That's so sweet.
Mostly because most of my miniatures paint is quite old. I enjoy painting miniatures. It's part of my zen, and it's a way that, the problem is I get lost in it. Like, next thing I know, the sun's coming up and I'm like, oh shit, where did time go?
Yeah.
Which isn't always healthy. So
Yeah. Not that either of us have any idea about those sorts of hobbies.
No,
That
not at all.
whole just one more row for knitting is really just one more row. Just one more row.
I mean, I cross-stitched a whole thing right before a party, and I stayed up until 8 a.m. to do it. I thought it was only going to take me another hour. Nope.
yeah.
Guess who got to sleep in my bed? My cat. Where was I? Not in my
there.
bed.
I have recently discovered the joy of Lego again, because I loved playing with Lego when I was a kid. Adored
That
it.
is dangerous.
And on the day that Hershey went in for her surgery, we had to drop her off and then wait for the vet to call us, and we weren't going to be able to pick her up until the following day. So while we were waiting for the vet, we went to the bookstore and found the most complicated looking Lego kit that we could afford at the time. And Jim set me down in front of the TV and put on comfort television and 2 TV trays and the box of Legos and said, I'm going to go take a nap, and then I'll come help you with this. I finished it before he finished his nap.
Oh, jeez.
But it's a solar system, not a solar system. It's the Earth and the Moon going around the sun. And it's the Lego Technic set. So there's a little crank, and you crank it, and it turns, and it spins, and it shows how the moon gets in between the sun and the Earth to cause certain types of eclipses. Cool. And it's got
so it's kind of like an armless. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. So yeah, it spins all around. It's very cool. But yeah, I've discovered that I really enjoy Legos again. So
That's
I
awesome.
wonder if we could somehow add a cosmic horror to Legos.
oh,
Or would
I'm
that be bad form?
sure we can. Hershey, you okay, baby? Okay. She got up and was
Because,
limping.
oh, I mean, it's all about sacred geometry, right?
It is. Oh gosh.
And putting
Ex-
together bits and pieces to a formula. Hi guys, are we thinking about season 20 now with Legos and
Please
Arso?
do.
Is that what we're doing? Is that where we're workshopping here?
I am a fan of that thought. Yes.
I feel like that is how you accidentally summon a demon.
I mean, it happens.
Legos. Deranged.
That shit you say in road rage on the road.
Yeah.
I have an idea. I will text you later, Dan.
Oh no. And we won't even talk about the the shapes that yarn can take as you're ripping things out. Yeah.
That's why it's the red string board, right?
Exactly. Yes. That's it.
I mean, basically the yarn is the is the cosmos unraveling. It's kind of what happens spaghettifying when somebody goes through a black hole. Or
Yeah.
we think theoretically someone goes through a black hole as they spaghettify. And that's what the yarn is.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing like yarn tears because something didn't work. Imagine that as somebody's reality, just simply falling apart, falling to pieces.
My reality every day.
So then what is a spit splice? Because that's just... Ooh!
Ah, that looks so good.
I love that.
So scary.
Yes, the spit splice is the wibbly wobbly, timey wimey worst part of it all, where you just take two ends and go, and suddenly it's a string again.
I don't like it.
I've only
I
done
like
that
how.
once.
So I am not much of a Doctor Who fan,
Mhm.
but I do like the idea and the concept where they're like, "Sorry, fixed point in time, love, can't change it." Part of that is, it helps keep some of the explanations of why shit goes bad.
It takes a lot for me to like time travel. So, and I do enjoy Doctor Who, or at least I did. No reason that I stopped watching, just like it happens.
It was one of those, it was on a service that I stopped subscribing to, and then I stopped watching it.
That's fair. It used to be on BBC America, like growing up kind of thing. And then I found out that BBC America used to cut things out of Doctor Who.
Oh.
And so, like, I was watching this thing where they were talking about things that happened in an episode, and that thing did not happen in the episode I had watched. And I went, wait, what happened? Why would you cut that out? Because apparently Doctor Who was too long for Americans.
Wow. Yeah.
Couldn't keep the 15-minute attention span.
Apparently.
Gotta switch over to Bluey.
Bluey's so good.
That's what I keep being told. I have
not
not managed
watched
to catch it yet, but
I've also heard it's really good.
I've watched a few episodes, not necessarily by choice. Actually, I watched a few episodes at Ben's house when I went out to the Bay Area because he had it playing for the kids.
right.
And I was like, oh, this is solid. Like, this is not, dumbed down, children's TV. This is actually really, really good. I'm liking this foam on this paper mask.
Nice. Oh,
It's hang on, I will.
and that stuff dries nicely too, doesn't it?
It's setting up pretty well. It's supposed to set up. It's supposed to take 24 hours for it to set, but this is setting up really, really, really quickly. And the tacky glue that I have that I'm using is adhering to both the
Ooh,
mask and the modeling clay really well.
that's good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
Ooh, it looks so good.
I like it.
So you got the yellow sign over the eye, the other tentacles. You got one tentacle kind of doing the 3D thing coming out.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if I want to do anything else to it.
Yeah, no, when you're ready to stop, you're ready to stop. I like it.
I like it a lot.
I think
Better is the enemy of done.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm stopping until I can get my puffy paint, and I'll need to touch up this side again. But I'm pretty happy with the paint coverage now, and yeah, I just want to add some
looks
texture
great.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ, Desert Nico, it might be it might have been dried. I mean, some of it is cracking a little bit, but for a little amateur project, I'm not worrying about it. Though I wonder if I add a little bit of water. Can I smooth it out? I can. Oh
Nice.
no. My yellow paint water.
Uh-oh.
I've crafted a bunch of stuff with Sculpey. And I like using Sculpey. I really like doing sculpture work. It feels good to bring something to life that's 3D, and my ability to draw disappeared as I got older. I don't know if it's tension span or lack of hand-eye or hand coordination, because arthritis and video games, and I'll blame them. Oh yeah, I can fill in a lot of these cracks with.
The redacted reports got me back into making art, so I blame you guys.
Yep.
So I would like to point out.
Oh no.
Mine's upstairs.
I love that.
Oh, I'm so glad.
It's the best.
Legitimately, that's one of my absolute, favorite things that has been created for the podcast, because it has utility as well as like cool stuff to it. We got one of our listeners made notebooks for us that used our image of the red string board, which is great. And I haven't added many notes to it because I'm one of those people that when I get a pretty book like that, I don't want to ruin it with something dumb.
Yep.
And so oftentimes, like when I get journals, my journals end up being, empty, but
because they're pretty.
It's pretty on the outside.
I have a whole shelf full of those.
But yes, I love that art, and it's so absurd that it's great.
Well, there might be more coming.
Get excited about those things.
I will happily accept it.
I have the next thing that I need to work on is Ari's drink, which Ben and I have already been in talks about. So I'm hoping my brain will let me do the things. When I start having like stressors at work, I don't want to do anything that I even like to do. I end up just kind of like doing mindless things so I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But there is like good things on the horizon at work, so I'm hoping that my brain funk will go away. So
yeah.
I hope so too, because you deserve it.
I appreciate it. I believe I've been given character references Ben and I have been in talks in the background about what drink Ari likes. Everybody, I'm
And
very excited.
that's no, we don't know. That's
Nope.
a thing
Wait,
that we have yet.
the
We've
only
talked about it, but we've not gotten the answer. So
the only
Nope.
thing we know is that DB is very excited about it. So
I am. I have a little bit of freedom license with it. Though I will say, out of all of them, my favorite is the one that I made for Dan. The peaches took too long.
is it tiny little butt peaches?
Yeah, I went and I'm gonna make these look really good, and then next thing you know, like 3 hours passed, and I went, oh no.
but
So,
again, that's the best.
Before
I had to stare at a picture of Dan for so long.
oh,
Oh.
before I was asked what my drink was,
Mhm.
apparently people had taken a poll or had guesses of what it would be, and they were like, it's either going to be an orange soda or a peach soda. And yeah, it was the peach soda, the peach sparkling water. Yeah, the
Nice.
drink chibis are so good.
They
Oh,
are.
I'm
They're
so
so
glad
cute.
you guys liked it.
So,
I just was like, oh, this sounds like fun. And originally when I showed Ren, we were talking about it, and I was like, I need to do one for Dan. And then Ren was like, hey, can you do one for Dan? And I went, I was just thinking that. Like, oh, the drunk chibis. That's the
Ooh,
next thing we're
I was
gonna
gonna
get.
say we need those now.
well, I'm a teetotaler, so it's been a long time.
It's okay. I won't make yours drunk. I'll make everybody else's
Okay.
drunk around you.
Well, Seth is also a teetotaler.
Oh, the two of you will not.
Then we're like, "Ugh." Give everybody else bottles of wine or booze.
Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
so I'm very excited to work on that. It's just time and energy.
Time
Yeah,
is a 4-letter word.
it is. It
It's a
is.
4-letter word. It is.
And the weird esoteric thingy, right? Everybody talks about like constants in the world, length and time and all that, but all of our measures of time are man-made.
Mm-hmm.
So does that make time man-made? Yeah, high concept,
Yes.
weird
Like
shit.
kind of, because like man decided that we had to work, kind of thing. And they do it during the daytime to be able to see. So even then it's very much man-made, but also set by the sun, basically, because can't see in the dark back then,
Yeah.
But yeah, we always get deep.
I mean,
It is an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, weird with the weird concept stuff. If you haven't seen it, True Detective on HBO is Lovecraft adjacent and cosmic horror adjacent. There are some things that I would, as a storyteller, I would have done a little bit differently, but they're it's all great storytelling. And in season one of the characters, who happens to be a stoner and a bit of a conspiracy theorist, an outside thinker, says time is a flat circle. That's the Matthew McConaughey character. And actually in that season, spoilers, they talk about the Yellow King.
Oh.
They talk about Carcosa. And there are starlings that create a bit of a spiral. And you see yellow spirals in various locations as Easter eggs through the show. It's one of the shows that I will watch and like tear apart, like slow down and pause and go back and look at like stuff in the background as they drop all kinds of Easter eggs. Now, are the Easter eggs actually part of the story or not is kind of the fun part.
Oh.
I love that. I'm gonna have to start watching. It's been recommended to me several times, and I just haven't. Kind of like Lovecraft Country as well.
Lovecraft
Um,
Country, yeah.
yeah, the both of those have been suggested to me because I like spoopy weird things. But I haven't watched them yet, and sometimes it's more of a like a I don't want to watch something new. I just want to watch something that's comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's Scream, but
Everyone has their own definition of comfort. You would not
it's
be
true.
comforted by a lot of the movies that I watch to fall asleep to, and that's okay.
It's fine. I fall asleep to horror movies. I fall asleep to the redacted reports and get weird dreams in the middle of the night.
Yay! Me too. But there are redacted reports in my head. But
Yeah.
like upcoming seasons.
It's
I the best place that I got an idea for redacted reports, and this might, obviously this is going to be a spoiler, but it's far enough down the road that most people are going to forget about it.
we'll forget about it.
Last year for my birthday, TJ and I went to TJ and my partner also, Desert Nico, in the chat. Her and I went to Disneyland because I'd never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World a few times,
Yeah.
so I got to go to Disneyland. I got to go to the original happiest place on earth. And I'm sitting on a ride, and I got an idea. I pull out my phone, and I'm typing in stuff, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I got an idea." She's like, "An idea for what?" I'm like, "Idea for the podcast." She's like, "In this ride?" I'm like, "Yes," because it's a small world.
I fucking knew it.
Oh my.
It was gonna be one of like the animatronic rides because like there's so many things that could.
Tiki 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 tiki.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it wasn't the tiki lounge, but it was the yes, you can throw things at me, that's fine. It I'm not gonna talk about what ideas it gave me, but there was inspiration there, and when you guys hear it a few years from now probably
Yeah.
then
We'll remember this suddenly and go, oh.
Dan talked about that.
I had a whole OC appear in my dream because of the redacted reports that I have written out, drawn, shown to Ren. Ren has one chapter of the story that I started writing about them. So yeah, no, I completely understand. It's so much fun. But oh man.
Speaking about other original content, did you like the little Easter egg in Kaleidoscope, Danny? That was for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Very much.
I am not. I want to read the fan fiction, because I know that we've got a lot of it. I like spicy fan fiction. I like spicy reading, but I stay away from fan fiction that has to deal with the redacted reports. I've even actually had to stop listening to other podcasts that are in the same realm as ours. I used to listen to the Old Gods of Appalachia. I love the Old Gods of Appalachia. But I had to stop because I realized that there was a lot of content there that might overlap, and I do not want to unintentionally plagiarize somebody.
Oh God, yeah.
Because while we're as a podcast, I think we're doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. We've got, listeners all over the globe, which blows my mind.
You guys are doing really well. You guys shouldn't hesitate on what you've done. You've done so well, and everybody loves it.
It's weird though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is something, and I tell the crew this, that I would do this. I would run these games with them without the podcast. I mean, we're just out having fun, and the fact that Ren goes in and makes us sound absolutely amazing. Takes my crazy thoughts and cuts out a lot of my ums and whatnot, and makes us sound so professional and so good. We would be nowhere without, without what Ren does. Every couple months though, I do ask about, because we can get reports like, where do we have listeners? So we get listeners, like listener lists, listener lists from where people have downloaded our stuff. And you could tell when someone's gone on a Caribbean cruise, because it's like we've got one download of one episode in Antigua, another one in like Trinidad and Tobago. So it's like you can kind of track the cruise ship, or like two people in Qatar or whatnot. And to find that we have a lot of people that listen to us in Norway, and a lot meaning more than a dozen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand, Canadians, because they're just our hat, and England, because they're like
English,
mom and dad. But
yeah,
but other countries that where we're not, where English isn't the first language. Like Germany, we've got a couple dozen listeners in Germany on a regular basis. I never thought that the stories that I tell would reach people that far, and got me here onto your Twitch, and you guys like my stuff, which
yeah, we do.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like when Ren, so with the patron game, I was a last minute addition, and like Ren texted me and was like, "Hey, do you want to do a patron game?" And I went, "Yeah." and then Faye was like, "Do you want to do it like 3 days from now?" And I went, "Sure." Like I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but sure. And I won't lie, I was nervous about it because I've been burned with playing with strangers before, but like it's a little bit different when it becomes like a patron game. But yeah, it's hard for me to listen back to those episodes though, because I felt like I took over some, and I was like, I didn't mean to do that.
I enjoyed that game, and it felt like everybody. So there's always the same, because you both have played in games with me about the redacted reports, and we'll get to hear that whole one.
I can't wait for
that. Talk about that in a second.
Excited.
So with the patron games, yes, they're strangers, and you put these people, you sit them down and you're like, here are your characters, here's what we would like to do. It is always slow going to start, because people kind of figure out their own play styles. I classify players on a scale, on either are they reactive players or are they proactive players. You can have a game with all reactive players, and you can have a game with all proactive players, but the way that you tell the story to them and run the game is completely different. And even if you have got a mix of them, it's a different chemistry. So you kind of have to feel that out. And then when you're running for brand new people, you have to learn that kind of early. So I let the players, I don't want to sound horrible, but I let them flounder a little bit in the beginning to see whose voices step forward, who kind of takes a little bit of a step back, and then I can kind of go. So that's why that first 15 minutes is sometimes rough. I find that when I run con games, because I do love running games at conventions. I got to meet a lot of people, and that's what kind of hooked me into this. Is I ran a game for Andrea of Birds of Paradise, Andrea, and when things happened with the redacted reports and they were looking for a new handler, Andrea was like, "Hey, I got somebody that had us scared in a convention room, surrounded by a bunch of people telling a Cthulhu story. He might be a good fit." And then I got, I had already known Ren a little bit by then, but after that, the rest is kind of history with that. But DB, did you think that you guys had good chemistry with that?
I think so. Like we didn't have I don't think we had anybody that butted heads or anything like that. There were times when I was like, I wish we could have gotten more with one character, but also I think you have those people that have a step back. And also I've done podcasts. So podcasting for me isn't as scary as it is for some people, because they're not used to having a microphone in their face all the time.
Right.
So I thought we had a really good group. Like you said, beginning of any, even if you know the people, the beginning of any campaign, game, or whatnot, there's a little bit of what's gonna happen because you don't know other people's characters at that point unless you have tied in backgrounds.
Mhm.
But no, I thought our group was really good. I enjoyed playing with everybody. Like I would play with them again if they wanted to, but it is just one of those things that it's interesting to like think about, okay, who's comfortable in front of a microphone, who's not. Um yeah.
It's another level of performance, since doing the podcast and doing the audio drama instead of just sitting down and playing. I have some people that I play with on a regular basis that are so much fun and great at the table, but I think they would have issues or challenges if I put a mic in front of them for it to be. And I think that they would possibly grow out of it because it's a skill that you can learn and you can talent. Oh. Hi, Attila. All right, go relax over there. Puppy dog.
Aw.
Okay.
One of our dogs.
Oh,
Pupper.
sweetie. No.
Yeah. He old man. Yes. Hi,
man.
buddy.
Aw.
Coming to
Come
coming
to
to
say
get
hi.
pets. Hang on, let me see. Attila, hey buddy. We're gonna put you on camera.
The
Puppy
boy. Oh.
And he's like,
Aw.
nope, I'm not gonna be on camera. He is our neurotic dog.
Fair enough.
When there would be loud noises outside, he would bark horribly and would absolutely nuts when there's fireworks. And Phoenix is the land of fireworks and shotgun shells and all of that.
Yeah.
But here's the good part. He's an old man and he's going blind, and we're pretty sure he's pretty deaf because fireworks go off and he's just like. So, I think for his peace of mind, him going deaf is a good thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, beware rabbits. We've got 2 rabbits that float around through here as well.
Oh, cute.
Yes.
Oh.
What was I saying before I was rudely interrupted by his cuteness?
People in front of microphones. If that helps.
yeah.
at
They
Some
can be
all.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Yep.
And you could train it. You can get better with it, and it just comes with practice. It's how you get comfortable. Every time you step outside your box gets a little bit bigger.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Sometimes it shrinks in other areas, but it gets big. But it eventually does change shape, right?
No.
So Danny, you were involved in that in that thing.
Yes, I was. I got to be an intern.
Oh.
Did you listen to
excited.
that promo, DB? That was
No, I haven't. So
Was that April 1st that one was released? Yes.
Yes.
I fall behind and then go, I'm going to listen to main story and then go back.
Gotcha.
And I work a job now where I can't listen to podcasts 8 hours a day because I have to be in meetings, which I'm trying to get out of because I hate it. Like, I hate talking in front of execs. It's not a thing that I like. Yes, I'm good at it. I can sound very confident, but I am over here like, please no, I would like to go back to the cubicle where no one knows who I am or what I do.
There are lots of things that I'm good at that I still don't want to do.
Yeah. I am very, so going with the whole podcasting thing, I'm very good at bullshitting. Like, and I can make everything sound like everything is going great, and then at the end of it I'm like doing the best I can.
All we can ask for.
Yep.
Yeah. But I would like to focus all that bullshitting into projects outside of my job. But the fact that I'm in 25 meetings a week that I'm facilitating makes it very hard. Because at the end of the day, I just want to be like, I'm not a person now.
Oh.
So.
But yeah, we did the April Fool's drop.
Excited.
And every year we try to do a April Fool's episode. And as a crew, none of us really like pranks, like malicious pranks, right? So we want to do something that's silly and absurd. And somebody said, what happens if the interns were a game? And I was like, that would be fantastic. And like, I could run it. I've got a couple scene ideas in mind. Let's go. Who are we casting though? Who is all going to be part of the game? So the list came to me, and you know, uh, we got together on pretty short notice.
Mm-hmm.
And originally, the concept that we were going to have is we were going to have people record snippets, like scripted snippets, and then release release it as a trailer. And I was like, if it's only 2 or 3 hours or 3 hours, why don't we just blow through a session? Because if I'm going to capture people's time for a while, why not? Let's just play a game.
Yeah.
And be silly about it. And everybody was like, all right, we could do that. We're not going to release it right away. We'll release it later. And when we sat down, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got to be a little bit sillier than I get to be in the redacted reports.
We love that.
Because Dan is a bit serious in the redacted reports, but the interns was
we were not serious.
No,
it was a good time.
But you were. The characters were serious.
Oh yeah.
The characters were so serious, and you guys played at 2 point, and I was just like, this is golden. The IT guys.
I loved the IT guys. Yeah, I loved the IT guys.
I will go back and listen to the trailer drop now.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do after we're done here.
We gave the raw audio, the connection over to Alondra, to Lady Bedivere, and Lady Bedivere just crushed it with creating that little teaser trailer. One of the things that's not in the teaser trailer that I will give as a spoiler for us and the dozen people that are listening is that when during the time Danny's character, what was your character that went? It's kind of a bit of a blur, but goes to visit IT to see what's going on. They meet the three members of IT, and like the Fates, they share an iPhone. And look at things with the iPhone, like the three Fates with the iPhone with the eyeball.
Amazing.
I loved the IT guys so much.
Oh.
I thought that was
very clever.
I think that's witty and genius. I toot my own horn. I love
that. Question about that. There's no eye damage to any of those people, right?
I don't think there was.
I don't make any comments about if there is. So it's not like, I think one of them might be squinting, but it's more of like, because it's a dark room filled with smoke.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's my only trigger, and it has been brought up so many times in my home game that I am just like,
oh,
yeah. It's the only thing that makes me go, please don't.
I know that in this most recent season with the Toll Collector, we had a lot of people get really skeeved out about the teeth.
I didn't know teeth were a thing for me until I listened to that. I'm like, oh, I guess teeth are a thing.
Yeah, Ren was like really close to X carding because with the crunches and the thing. Yeah. And
I found out that teeth wasn't a thing for me.
Yay!
I was like, oh, okay.
Also, there is an eyes issue. Yeah, and then you had to edit it. Yes, that is true.
Oh, no.
Oh, and you had to listen over and over at least 4 times.
Oof.
I had there's creepy things in the lotus pods, like little eyeballs in lotus pods, and apparently the lotus pods are is a phobia or
Oh.
a trigger
Oh.
because like something like a bunch of little holes. And
Oh.
apparently it stems back to bot flies,
Oh.
which we're not going to talk
Nope.
about. But if you go and you Google bot flies and then you look up a lotus
Yeah.
pod, you're like, oh wow, they look awfully alike. Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
gross. So I kind of went into that. Yes, you're not allowed in there. Nobody's in that door, so stop screaming. Uh, Trypophobia. There we are. And
Yeah.
then also what I did with Johann Vieck.
Mhm.
That was
So
so creepy and so cool.
yeah, Johann Vieck, if it's not evident, is John Wick.
Okay.
My friend John Wick and the guy that wrote, the Curse of the Yellow Sign, and he was also involved in creating Fragments of the King, which was the source material that I used. Luckily, I know the authors because they're part of my writing crew, and some are my best friends with that. So I was like, hey, do you mind if I use your chapters as some of the inspiration material for the upcoming season? And they were like, yeah, sure, go for it. So we utilize that. Now, what kills me is right now that book is not available for anybody to buy or download.
Oh.
Fragments of the King. So I'm trying. I talked to John earlier today. I'm like, hey, can we get that back up on drive-through? And he's like, maybe in a month or two. So
Okay.
we might see that when that pops up. Then I'm probably going to be like, hey, everybody, go buy this. It's fantastic source material.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so good. I know that I did upset a lot of people by having Bertolt Brecht having a cell phone. My theater people. But hey, that's okay. It's a weird world. It's a
It is.
fantasy.
Oh,
Strange
yeah.
things are happening. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I dumped a lot of material on Ben in the beginning of the season because Ari knows a lot about the King in Yellow.
Yeah.
And I was like, here's a bunch of resource material. Use this. And if you want to come up with stuff on your own, go. Just make it up. And a lot of times he did. And if you've listened to the episodes and you hear him kind of, I don't want to say ramble. When you hear him ramble, a lot of that stuff that he just pulled off the top of his head, and it was great, especially since the change of things. Without getting into that type of spoiler, because I know there's some people that don't know about those things. So
Exciting.
did you guys have any other questions about the King in Yellow, about this last season?
Ooh, I don't know that I've got any that
Academic
don't need to
diatribe.
wait for the yes, academic diatribe. That sounds about right. I know that there was some chat earlier.
Well, if you want to ask the question, I could. If you want to ask the question, Danny, I can say yes, I can answer it now, or have you hold off until the talk back. So
Let's see. What were some of my questions? When you were looking at the source material that you were pulling from, how do you go about that? Like, what is your process? Do you like read it through and then sort of take the very bare bones? Does it really depend on the material you're using?
So it does depend on the material that I'm using. Now, the King in Yellow is has been touched by so many other authors. There are many versions. Shush, puppy dog, stop yelling, aliens. It's because Amazon is here. The big bad evil monster bus outside.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
The King in Yellow and the chamber stuff and the Yellow Sign has been written and touched by so many authors that I could go look at different plays. I could look at different breakdowns of the story. There have been adventures written for Call of Cthulhu, as well as Impossible Landscapes, which is the Delta Green King in Yellow Sign adventure.
Okay.
And kind of pull from them. I chose not to use the material from Impossible Landscapes. It's a fantastic campaign, but it doesn't fit our play style for the redacted reports. So I'm kind of leaving that off because I know many of our listeners are also players of the redacted reports, so I'm not going to spoil their story with that campaign by taking bits and pieces on that.
Okay, I like that.
That makes
But
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
I read through what I can. Oftentimes I'm just skimming a lot of it and picking here and here, hither and yon, and putting it into pieces. Um, you know, Trying to find pieces that fit, and if not, I make them fit.
All right.
Push, push, squish, squish.
Squish, squish. Yes. And I assume you have notes in front of you with like the spelling of names and stuff, and that's how you can keep straight Vale and Vale and Casilda and Camilla
Yes.
and all of that.
Yeah, I have as part of the patron extras, they get my notes.
Right.
Originally, like in the first couple seasons, my notes were a lot more curated, and then I realized that's not how I keep notes.
Yeah.
So now you're getting the notepad that I have my crazy chaos on there with the spellings and the names and who's tied to what and what other ideas that I might throw at the players. Uncurated and unedited. It's just, here you go.
Yep.
Here's the craziness. And I will admit, I think I called Fail and Veil wrong maybe once or twice. I don't think people picked up on it.
Well, that was
But
kind of
I'm
the
okay with
point
that
of that,
because,
wasn't it?
Sometimes you have, there's a bit of a unreliable narrator.
Yeah, I will say that kept throwing me off, the similarity of so many names this time around, and then all the R names, and I'm just like, I need a spreadsheet. I need the correct spellings of things.
Yeah.
And I know
I do have a spreadsheet for patron names.
but that doesn't show up until after the season is out, right? Or is that available now?
No, that's not available until after
Yeah.
the season. We don't share that.
Don't share
that's
yeah.
that's on our side.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it's one of those that I'm very visual in trying to remember things, and so if I don't see the name written down to connect it with someone, it's not sticking. And then when all the names are the same, it's very
similar.
soapy. Yes, it was a very soapy mixture of sliding around names. I'm like, I'm just gonna roll with it, and we'll listen to the end and cross my fingers.
With this season, a lot of the character names, there are a lot of character names, because there are the fictional characters that have roles in the play, and those roles, the NPCs all have real names.
Yeah.
But they're fictional characters as well, right?
Yep.
So there was quite a bit.
Yeah. But I
What about you, DB? Do you have any?
Go ahead, Danny. Sorry.
go ahead.
I just keep thinking of the symbol that's on Ross's forehead.
Yeah, that's been there
That
for a little bit.
that came from the Burning Man season, but has now shown up in King in Yellow season. Is it and in my brain I thought it was one thing, but is it more of like what the symbol of the King in Yellow is, or is it a different symbol altogether?
It's the yellow sign.
Okay.
It is the yellow sign. I'll clear that up for you right now. It is the yellow sign. It is not this yellow sign.
Right. But
it's not this, because this is copyrighted.
Okay.
And I didn't want to I didn't want us to have to arm wrestle about copyrighted symbols, because we're an audio podcast.
Sure.
And I'll let people imagine what, like that yellow sign and that yellow sign are copyrighted, and I didn't want to deal with that. Right. So there is another version which is a spiral, right? Which is similar to this one, right?
Yeah.
But it is a spiral, and it's supposed to, signify the descent into madness or the descent into Carcosa. And that's what I explained in both the Burning Man issue, or the burn, or the thing in the desert, due to legal liabilities in that one.
Yeah.
And uh, I try to explain a little bit differently. And granted, yeah, we think about that, but it's not just that. It's something similar.
Okay.
And I also want you to think about the other group that he belongs to.
Uh-huh.
Right? And they've got a little pin,
Mm-hmm.
a little, a little
Yeah.
button that's golden,
Mm-hmm.
yellow.
Ross is gonna be haunted by this fucker.
Ross is screwed.
And and there is one scene where a person with a golden button is decapitating royalty in one of the paintings because it was the French Revolution. And it's a group of people that don't like tyranny. Is there more to that, or am I just sending you down a red string and I'm just
could be either.
draw the red string
It
back
could
up and be like, nope,
literally
that's
be
nothing.
either.
That's what happens when someone's got 19 seasons planned.
Yeah. I found my notes for one of my, because there's a dozen of us, right? I'm gonna read a note that this was an idea that did not come to fruition. Rory speaks with Rooster in his dreams.
Oh.
I was going to have that happen in this season, the one that we just finished, the one that just dropped. But that idea was written a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That obviously we're not doing that.
Nope.
No. Interesting.
Okay.
Oh man. We also didn't get to see Rowan do a lot of brain stuff this season. Like, or any, I have to go back and listen. Like I said, there were times when I took headphones out and like, went, what's happening? But I don't.
You're going to learn more about that on Wednesday.
Oh. When the interludes drop.
Oh, I've learned, but I'm not gonna say anything.
I haven't listened yet because life.
This is what happens. I get caught up, and then I'm like, oh hey, release day. Let me listen to the episode. So tomorrow we'll find out more brain stuff with Rowan.
Yep. Ooh.
Yeah, we find out a little bit more about the brain stuff with Rowan. Another Easter egg is the school is named after a buddy of mine who is a game developer in the Philippines, Toby Abad. And, I've created him as an NPC with his permission. I was like, hey, I'm adding you into the game. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah, sure. Just don't make me an asshole. I'm like, well, you'll be kind of like Charles Xavier. And he's like, I'm in. So
just a little bit of an asshole. No.
Yeah, just a little bit. He wrote a game that I want to run, and as a I don't know if it would be a
Where she stay down here?
April Fool's game or a just as a silly game. He wrote a game called Models, Models, and basically it's the Derek Zoolander game.
Oh.
Yes. Oh my god.
Goodness.
Where all the characters are models, but they're also super spies. But they're dumb as a box of rocks.
Oh my.
It's so funny. You brought up so many things that are just like, oh, here's a memory I have. The first time I watched that movie, I had dental surgery.
Oh.
And my friend was like, I want to make you feel better. And so I'm laughing with like just a mouthful of gauze. Oh, Lord.
The first time I saw that movie, I hated it.
Really?
I thought it was stupid. And then my friend said, let's watch it again. I'm like, I don't want to watch it, but because, I just didn't know what else, we didn't have anything else to do. I watched it again, and I watched it with just maybe a different perspective. And I was like, oh my God, this is genius. There are many layers here.
It's so dumb, but so like, I found it really funny. The second one, not so much, but, They took Benedict Cumberbatch's eyebrows away, and I can't get over it. Like, he looks so awful without them. Like, he is already kind of a weird looking man, and then they're like, "Hey, let's take away his eyebrows." And I went, "Oh no!"
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, some genius there.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Uh, Toby also wrote a game called A Single Moment. And A Single Moment is about two samurai that are meeting for a duel. And when they're at the duel, you play flashbacks each scene that get to where you get to the duel. And during that time, you gather dice through these flashbacks. And then at the end, in the final scene, do the two samurai strike, or does one kind of admit defeat, forfeit, and walk away, or do they both walk away? And somebody gave him the idea, said it doesn't have to be just samurai. It could be a Western.
Yeah.
It could be a romance, or two people that are in a romance that's not going well are, having a meeting, and then you play the flashbacks of things, and then at the end, do they kiss and make up? Do they walk away, breaking it free? And it is one of those, like Ren says, it's in the feels, and you can get really deep because it's a one-on-one game, and there's no GM. It's just the two people role-playing back and forth, and it I think it's one of the most genius games that I've ever had the opportunity to play, and Toby just creates gold, with his stuff. So
We'll have to get some links from you that we can pop in our Discord to share for these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be the only ones wanting to play them.
No, definitely not. Especially models. Models sounds amazing.
It feels like the sort of thing that we would use for a meme of the month.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I wonder if we could do that for the Oops All Dans episode.
Who's GMing that?
I would be up for that. That would be fantastic.
Oops All Dans.
I almost jumped at the Star Wars one for the May, but I just had too much stuff going on that I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that was.
So I didn't even put my name. I didn't even put my name in the hat as a possibility or an opportunity, because I do love some Star Wars role-playing games.
I think we're going to have to do that again at some point. But
more of a Trekkie girl, but if I were to play a Star Wars game, it'd be only for the lightsaber, because I want one. Like, I would hurt myself in real life, but I still want one. Like,
that's fine.
I'm clumsy as hell.
But we love you for it.
Oh.
We've talked a lot tonight. I love this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
And we even mostly stayed on topic.
Have you played the new iteration of the Star Trek game, the Star Trek Adventures?
I have not played any of the Star Trek games. Star Trek is one of those things that, like, my mom and I bonded over. We both love Next Generation, and it was one of those things that we would watch it occasionally whenever it was on. So, like, haven't gotten into actually playing any of the RPGs yet. It also takes, like, friends who want to play those. I don't have a lot of friends who like Star Trek, so it's like up in the air kind of thing.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to try to play some games, different games, and because I've got friends in all kinds of industries. A buddy of mine is one of the head writers for Star Trek Online.
That's so cool.
He's a game developer. His name's Jess Heinig. We chat occasionally. We don't chat a lot. Another buddy of mine is one of the writers for the Star Trek Adventures, and I want to kind of gather folks that enjoy it. So if I can get one of those games for either a short, one shot or a short campaign, I'll keep you in mind, DB, and we'll see what we can do. That goes for that goes for anything that other folks want to run. I'm I find that when my mental health is uh, in an upswing, I want to be creative and I want to run more games.
Yes.
I made a I had a bit of mania moment um, about last year before I'd gotten this job, and I was like, hey, I want to run games for all my friends, for all my people that want to play. We're gonna play a what I'm gonna call a guild adventures game. Who wants to play with me? I had 52 people sign up
Oh
for the game.
wow.
Oh Lord.
I whittled it down to 25.
Hmm.
I ran 5 games over a 2 week period, right? Like it like a week on, week off. Except for Mondays. I had a game on Monday on each day, and I ran 6 to 8 sessions for each group: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday.
Wow.
With 5 players in the same world on Roll20, on playing D&D with different adventures, because I was able to share the compendium. That was the way that I was able to do it. And I was gaming every single night. And then I'm like, oh. And then, my mental health kind of did a dip, as the
As it
cyclical
does.
thing. And I'm like, all right, guys, I need to take a break. And everybody was like, cool, we got to play. Nobody gave me any issues with it. And that I got a job, that kind of puts a kibosh on me trying to do that, because it takes up a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But I'm back in the idea where I want to play more games with more people and connect more people,
Oh
connect my
yeah.
friends, because that was part of the story as well. Is I want my friends to be able to play with other people and make new friends.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
I've been right there with you. There was a time where I think streaming every day of the week for TTRPGs. I was
Yep.
in like podcast streams, all of that. And then, stuff went down, groups started to break apart, and now I'm down to like 3 streamed games, or not even that, 2. I have this show, Crits and Knits, and then sometimes Roll for Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it is one of those things that like I want to get back into creating podcasts and things like that, because I enjoy doing that.
Hmm.
Um Originally, a lot of the streamed games I was in were charity streams where we did extra life events. So, and I miss
mhm.
that. But jobs and life, man.
Hershey, what
you
you
know
thinking?
we can get together and tell imaginary stories in imaginary
Mm-hmm.
places and forget about the world.
Yep.
It's you know Sometimes we have to make time for that, to
Yeah.
disconnect.
Yeah. Definitely. And it's not that like the games have gone away. Like I'm in like a few games with like friends that we don't stream or anything like that, and those are nice. So
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm in Vampire the Masquerade. I'm about to be in Werewolf of the Apocalypse. Like all of these different games. Uh and it's fun
Dresden
and it's
Files.
nice. Dresden Files, yes, I'm about to be in that one as well, which I'm very excited for because Red and I have been talking about it off and on. I've already like drawn my character for that.
Love that for you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm always down. It's just working into schedules sometimes,
Hmm.
especially when there's huge time differences.
Yeah, time zones are a
But
pain.
yeah.
I have to say that when COVID was horrible,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely horrible. I lost a friend that to COVID, and the world changed, right? But one of the things for our hobby was distance gaming became normal.
Yeah.
And while I love getting in front of my friends and rolling dice on the table, and that type of laughter and having that physical interaction, I don't have to deal with commutes to friends' houses. Phoenix, Arizona has, we have some traffic sometimes, but I've got friends that are scattered across the town, the city. But now that I could do distance gamings, I can play a game. I play a game on Sundays with folks that live in California,
Yeah.
that are, far, far away. I've got friends that I'm able to possibly game in, Pennsylvania, where I grew up. And occasionally I get to do that. So it helped us, I think it helped us reconnect in a different way. And, once we got over the fact that we don't always roll physical dice in front of each other, and, we digital dice isn't as sexy, but at least it's something we can do, right?
I agree. And like things Roll for Weird would not have happened if COVID hadn't happened.
Yeah.
Because like that started out with Ren and I, and it honestly became like I've been so much closer with the people that I started that with than I'd ever been before. All because Red was like, "Hey, I'm having a hard time," and I went, "Would you like me to run a one shot so that maybe get your mind off?" Because it was in like March of 2020.
Yeah. It was early.
And yeah, and I was like, "Do you want to do this?" And they were like, "Yes, please." And I was like, "Great, here we go." And what's funny about that is I had started a podcast early on that was that first episode of Roll for Weird. Like we had never put anything out. We had had so much sound issues and I was like, it's unsaving. And it turned into this, and now I get to talk to like Dan, and I get to hang out with Danny all the time, and Red and I are always talking to each other. Like it's awesome. I'm excited to be able to go out and see Ren in the summertime and all that. Like it's craziness.
Yeah. Just
Yay. So I didn't toot my own horn. And we're toward the end of the day here. Besides being the handler on the redacted reports, I'm an Annie award-winning author for game design as well, because I've written for 7C second edition. I'm
so
credited
cool.
in 6 or 7 of the books.
that's fantastic.
And I've written for the Tiny D6 system with Gallant Knight Games. I still have a contract with Gallant Knight Games, though I haven't written anything for them in a long, long time. I still work with Alan. I'm the bearded booth babe for, Gallant Knight Games. Go shilling things, and I demo board games and card games and role playing games for folks whenever and wherever I can. So, it's not just TRR. I've got other accolades as well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's yeah. For everything that happened with COVID, there are things that happen that make life a little bit better. I think friendships and just growth of relationships happened in that. Sure, there was a lot of hard stuff, but a lot of people came together with like, we need to support each other in this hard time, and a lot of people did. Like,
Yeah.
it's been great, especially because like there were a lot of things that happened in 2019 before the pandemic in my life that then the pandemic happened and I was like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah, let's just add this shit to the pile, right?
Right.
Yep.
And it's been kind of like that ever since. Like the world has just kind of been like on fire, and I'm just like, can it stop? Can it stop?
No.
But the friendships that we've made have been really good, I think.
Yeah.
What I find is what I really like is that we have developed intentional communities, where we have that support and the people being together, in various ways, in new ways, right? Like this, like these conversations. You guys are East Coast and Midwest. Ohio is not getting East Coast recognition. No, it's Midwest.
And from being actually from the Midwest, I'm over here like, it shouldn't get Midwest. It's North.
But the fact that the world got smaller.
Yeah.
And we were able to connect, and I realized that some people, some communities and relationships and families and friends kind of broke apart because they were used to a different dynamic, and now the dynamics are different. Now that the world is kind of coming back together, because people are still getting sick
Yeah.
from COVID. It's still out there. It's still impacting people that are, immunocompromised.
Mhm.
You know, luckily it's not as deadly as it used to be, but there's still a change. The world's changed. It's different now. So
Yeah.
gotta make it the best we can.
No, I agree. Dan, I have a question. The brown
Sure.
book that's behind you, is there something actually on that? Because when your desk moved, that whole print like moved off of it. And I
So
don't
this
know.
one,
Yes.
hang on.
Because like I'm over here like, am I being infected by an eldritch horror right now?
So it has it. You guys can still hear me, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is the dreaded Necronomicon,
Okay.
and it is the wanderings of the Mad Arab Al Hazrat, which is a fake name because it would never be used. But then above that, what I have sticking out of it is my diploma from Miskatonic University in physical education.
Okay.
This was given to me by John Wick, a friend of mine,
That's fantastic.
as a Christmas gift. And the reason why he gave me the degree for physical education is I one long time ago, galaxy far away, I was a Division I athlete. I used to run track and cross country. Then I got hurt, and with that I got big. I was always big to begin with. 6 foot when I was racing. I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. But after I got hurt, I had my exercising stopped. I ballooned up to 370 pounds, and so I got to be a big person. Now down to 300 pounds. So I'm quite happy, and I'm shrinking with that. I also teach basics of grappling, like jujitsu and catch can wrestling. So that's something that I like turning my friends into pretzels and folding their clothes while they still have them on. It's a fun thing to do. They make weird noises when you bend them in strange ways.
I'm sure.
So.
The only reason why I asked, and it may be more of like, because I have an astigmatism, so like things like try to bounce, is when it bounced, it looked like the words of that book moved off of the book, and that's why I was like,
You'll have to go back and watch the video and see. Is it just that book where the words are disappearing?
from what I noticed, yes, because all the other ones are not
considering the
shifting.
book's content, yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does make
fucking
sense. Yeah. But I didn't know if it was like, if there was like a because sometimes like shine like yeah, and that's why I was like,
no,
what is happening?
Nope.
Nope, it's just my brain.
No.
It's just cursed. It's fine.
It's just me getting like the Necronomicon taking a hold of me.
As you do.
As you do. Oh, I'll turn into Ash
do.
Williams and cut off my hand.
Fatu Barada. Sort of said him.
Yeah.
I got most of the words right.
Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. We all have masks.
Yeah. We do.
In various states of completion.
Yes.
And I don't know that I'll ever put mine on my face because, I listened to too much of last season. So,
It's fine.
We wear no mask.
We wear no mask.
We wear no mask. Aww. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dan. This was just great.
Thank you for having me.
I think pretty much everyone who's here knows that they can find you on the Redacted Reports, but if you'd like to do official plugs for where we can find you and all of your stuff.
So on Wednesdays, wherever you catch your favorite podcasts, you can find the Redacted Reports. You can also go to the redactedreports.com, find some more information. We've got some nice little snippets that are not added onto the live stream. The mainstream, we've got 2 little side projects going on. One of them is more. There's more of it, which is the on the record or for the record, which has Agent Rowan going and talking to various people about unnatural things. And then there is Wearing Tinfoil with Art and Lance, which is a radio show, like an AM radio show talking about weird, spooky stuff. We're going to have more of those come together when the other folks involved with that are available. But yeah, those you can find at theredactedreports.com. You might have to dig a little bit, but it's kind of part of the show, right? You just got to dig into, is the truth out there? Oh, wait, we can't use that. That's copyrighted too.
Yeah.
Also, you could find me every other Thursday-ish on Vanna Lossman's stream, as I am running a Vampire the Masquerade game. Ren and I are doing that on a semi-regular basis every other week until when things happen and when things don't happen. You know, that's how it goes. But check out their stream as well.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with another guest, so that'll be fun.
Oh, yes.
This is the third time that DB's forgotten this tonight.
You literally told me when we started who our guest was going to be.
It's
fine. Oh, Lord. Oh. Until I pay attention.
It's fine. But thank you all for joining us tonight. This has been fantastic and fun. Oh, DB has a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So next week for Crits and Knits, looks like it's going to be just
the knits.
Just the knits.
Yeah.
So if you want to come hang out and craft with us for an hour-ish,
yep,
we'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll be talking about it.
Yep. All right. Well, until next time, happy crafting and try not to make too many mistakes.
But mistakes were made. Bye, everyone.
Bye.